Welcome back to our beginner guide. Enjoy. So the wooden gate is important for what we're going to be trying to keep out of here. If I can get it to do what I want. There we go. And with the wooden gate, you go up to and press spacebar and it's open. Now, when you have the wooden gate and the doors are open, I want you to place one of your... don't know if we have any extra berries. I think we're out of berries. But that's okay. We can go in and we can get one of the fresh berries over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these berries and we're going to put it inside of this area just for the show of it. Obviously in wintertime you shouldn't really be doing this. And now what's going to happen is when you pick your berries, you always pick your berries in the morning time, and as you do so, the gobblers are going to run outside as they normally do. In wintertime they'll instantly hide back in, and generally, like, sometimes they won't even show up either. So you're going to want to take your berries and you want to pick them in the morning time, and that way you have that way you have a gobbler that is going to try to get the berry that it can't obviously access. And as it does that, it's going to run and do this until it gets to dusk. And as soon as it gets to dusk, unfortunately, what's going to happen is it's going to go back into the berry. So basically, if you're outside of your base and somebody's doing this and somebody's managing to, grab all your berries, well, you're going to have free gobblers to kill. So you're going to grab your trusty handbat, and I would suggest don't use your handbat. Use like something like a walking cane or like an axe or something. That way you don't do a lot of damage to your gate. But for the sake of it, I'm just going to use a handbat, 1 or 2 hits, and you're going to get yourself some free meat. And that's the easiest way to get yourself a handful of meat. Now, unfortunately, I can't fit behind here, and that's why I was mentioning that sometimes it's better to have yourself a little bit of room like I did on this side. So you might end up with like 1 or 2 pieces of morsels over there, but your character should be able to reach it. If it rots, it's not a huge problem. So there you go. So now every single time that you go through the process of, picking a berry during springtime, you're going to have yourself an awesome way of getting free drumsticks, and that's going to continue on pretty much until winter starts all over again. And I mean, even during winter you can do that as well too, just as long as you're not trying to pick them up during dusk. So that's one thing that you always got to worry about, it because they can go in right away. So let's go ahead and make ourselves some more meaty stew. If you forget the recipe, 2 big meat, make sure that it shows 1 unit of meat, 1 monster meat, and 1 filler of any kind. But for the sake, I'm just going to use a berry because, like I said before, we want to keep our ice on us. So now that we have our extra flingo, or now we have used our extra flingo, I always suggest keeping an extra one in your pocket. So take your 15 ice as we did last time, grab your 2 gears. You're going to make yourself 2 more doodads if you can. If you don't have the resources to do this, you don't have to do this. This is all optional. I just suggest doing it in case a monster or something does happen in your base and you accidentally lose what you have. And there we go. So now we have an extra flingomatic. We got our little meaty stew. And we're ready to go and venture on. So there you have it for getting everything ready. And we still have 3 days left for winter time. So we have our regal shovel, we have our gold axe, we have some extra flint, which we don't really need to keep on us right now. So I'm going to suggest maybe taking those and putting those away. But we're going to have to start getting us more fireflies because we're not going to be entering into the caves anytime shortly. So as we continue on, we've already went through the process of showing you how to make a little gobbler farm. We've kind of cleaned up the base. We want to try to get some twigs. We want to try to get a few other things before it gets to springtime. But one thing we want to start focusing on is making ourselves what is known as an umbrella. An umbrella is going to be your most important thing when it comes to springtime because it's going to keep out the intense amount of rain. So the umbrella requires 15 twigs, 1 eyeball. That's why it's essential to kill the deer clops, and 4 bone shards. So let's not keep the eyeball. I would not suggest keeping the eyeball in your pocket in case you accidentally eat it, because I've done it numerous times. And we're going to go look to see where we can find some bone shards. Easiest spot to find bone shards are generally in the oasis or inside the desert. And of course, we have easy access to both of those areas when we don't have a portal that's really, really close to us. So we're going to have to venture out there when we get a chance. So you can also sometimes find them if you find them near graves and whatnot. So we're going to go look there right now. And we're also going to try to bring ourselves another bug net so we can catch a few more fireflies. I'm going to try to catch one if I can, just because, you know, why not? So we have 16% miner hat, and once again, we still have our rabbits that are caught. And this is why I say rabbits are, rabbit traps are so awesome, because you can just leave them there, and the rabbits are still alive, and at any point we can go back and get ourselves some easy meat whenever we need to. So if you have any questions, once again, while we're doing our tutorials, you know, feel free to write them down, ask in the comments. But what I want to know is if you're learning along the way, if you find that these tutorials are helping you, feel free to leave a message in the comment. And if you haven't already tried, please subscribe and like kind of support the stream, and also on YouTube as well too. So I mean, if you have Twitch and you want to follow me on Twitch, you can feel free to head over to there. If you want to help by subscribing on YouTube, that would be awesome as well too. Trying to get the channel to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you know, every free bell that you hit and every free subscriber that you hit on YouTube, it helps out a ton. So I do appreciate you guys, but definitely leave a comment and let me know if these tutorials are helping you out. So we're gonna go and we're gonna look for things in the oasis. I'm not too worried about getting too cold right now, because we have a 50% thermal stone still left, and we still have a lot of our miner hat. Now, as the thermal stone gets colder and colder and colder, generally, you know, it's eventually going to start diminishing and breaking down, and that's really the only thing you have to worry about when it comes to the thermal stone, and you can make an easy one, another one. And like I said, I mentioned before, is I like to use the no thermal stone durability mod. I really do not like that clay has a rock that eventually loses its durability over time. So I mean, for me specifically, that is something that I don't like at all. But regardless of that, we're gonna, you know, ignore that for now, because this will last us pretty much up until a thermal stone really almost lasts you like 2 years. So you don't really have that much to worry about, honestly. It's not like it's a huge problem. So remember, we need 4 bone shards. So the oasis, perfect spot for finding it. Sometimes it's even a good idea to get more than just what you need, because you never know what else you need bone shards for, and we're going to be needing them in the future anyways. Well, we're out here. We don't want to, you know, we don't want to get too far in here, but I will suggest getting some more cactus while we're just out here. And something else I want to kind of talk about is these little suspicious dirt piles. If you see them along the way, I'm not going to show you anything about them right now, just because I don't want you to get too confused. But you know, it is something that we're going to brush on later on. So for now, just ignore them if you can. If you do happen to click on them, just try to make sure that they can spawn in good things, but they can also spawn in bad things. So as we walk around, we still have our backpack on us, and you know, I do really want to pick these cactus, but unfortunately, considering the fact that it is nighttime and I don't have a lantern on me, we're going to go ahead and we're going to equip ourselves with a torch. And as you can hear, the hounds are just approaching again. So that's why I always say, always have your log suit, always have some healing, and always have a battle helm ready. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up that campfire, remake yourself another campfire, and as we prepare for the hounds to approach. So here we go, equip your stuff that you need. I'm going to start by using the helmet first. You can decide if you want to equip your log suit as well too, but I'm not going to do that for now, and I'm just basically just going to focus on killing the hounds. And you're not going to get too many that spawn in, but you want to focus on some of them. For example, I'm going to go for the ice hound first. That's going to freeze the rest of the hounds, and you can continue your cutting patterns that I showed you. And you might get hit a few times, but don't worry about it too much. As long as you have the armor that's needed, you should be perfectly fine. Now, I do play with lag compensation on predictable. Most people play with it off, and that's why sometimes it looks like I'm not supposed to get hit, but I end up getting hit anyways. And our helmet should pretty much go away here in a second or two. And there it goes. That's okay. We have more helmets back at the base anyway, so go ahead, cook up some cactus while we're on the go. Our thermal stone's nice and warm because we were near the campfire, and let's head back home and make that umbrella and get that ready for when we're 2 days away from spring, which is very close to what's going to come next. And that's going to get us ready for once again, you know, the different bosses that appear in springtime. Now, next on the boss kill list is one that I actually is very hard to kill when you have pretty much, I would say 6 or less people. It gets pretty difficult, and that's the bee queen. There are multiple different tutorials out there that can, you know, help you kill the bee queen in certain ways, but this is something that I'm probably not going to show you how to do year one, because it's not necessarily essential. However, I might brush on it here and there to kind of just go over different ways on how to kill it, because it's a very 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 tedious process unless you're looking to use different utilities, like which sometimes people refer to as cheesing bosses, which are basically just putting up the ability of putting a wall around it and like tanking it, or using a filling matic to freeze it while you fight it. Whenever I fight things, I like to learn how to actually fight them without having to use like some sort of ability to kind of prevent the normal way that the boss would attack you. However, there are certain cases like the D-Fly, which I generally like to set up certain things for that as well too. But I don't want to make it too complicated for you. I just want you guys to focus on surviving for your full year. And so that's why I only really want you to fight the bosses that you need to. So we're not going to fight if anything, the first boss that we're going to be fighting is most likely going to be the Deerclops. I mean, we already did kill, or I mean, the Deerclops we already did kill, but the next one would be the Dragonfly. And the Dragonfly is an awesome boss all around, and you'll find that out very shortly because it gives you some really, really good utility when it drops. So now we got our bone shards. We're going to go and we're going to grab our eye, which is right here. We're gonna go next to the alchemy engine. We're gonna go to the dress tab. Now we have enough twigs, we have the umbrella, and we can of course make whatever. There's only two. There's one, the glass umbrella that you got from a drop. If you were watching on Twitch, you get a free one you get free drops basically for watching on Twitch, and this is one of them. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna make the normal one just so you guys that don't have it might be able to see it. And there we go. Now we have the umbrella. Now we don't want to be wearing this unless we absolutely have to, so for now let's not keep it equipped, and we're going to keep that on the side. And there we go. We got 2 days left of winter, so we're going to end it here for now, but we're going to shoot over to another tutorial right after this one. So if you guys enjoyed the tutorial, please give it a like and make sure that you comment and let me know what you enjoyed about it and if you want to see more of them. But as we continue on, we're going to get further and further down, and we're already almost half a year survived and don't starve together. So if you are surviving right now, give yourself a big pat on the back. If you've died a few times, don't worry about it. Honestly, do not worry about it whatsoever. In the next tutorial, right after this, we're going to show you how to revive yourself, where to go to revive yourself, if you have the correct settings on the server to revive yourself with, and from there I hope to see you guys in the next video. And thanks again for watching these guys. We'll see you in the next one.